Can you give me a quick mic check?
Mic check, mic check.
Sounds good. Thank you. We're 1 minute out, Michelle.
Do you see me?
Yep, I see you.
Links one.
Perfect. I got
Oh
it.
shoot. Where's my clicker?
Hello and welcome to Take Six. I am streaming executive producer Thomas Mates, filling in for Julie Broughton. She is off today, and she will be back in on Monday morning, filling in for Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. Welcome everybody to the last episode of Take Six for the year 2024. We will be taking next week off for the Christmas holiday, and we'll be starting back up again on January 2nd, right in the new year 2025. Who can believe it? It's so close. But in the meantime, we've got a good show for you today. Before we get to anything else, we do have to get a check on the weather. And to help us out with that, we are joined by the Weather Wonder Woman, Michelle Morgan. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing well, except I said morning. It is clearly the afternoon, and so time's
It's
just
okay.
flying by.
It's okay. It's 12:30, so you're still kind of in that grace period.
Right? Yeah,
So
exactly. Once it gets to like
you're
1
good.
o'clock, then it's inexcusable.
Yeah. So you know what, Thomas, I have a really good forecast for
Oh,
anyone that likes
fantastic.
it chilly. We've been so warm for the week, and temperatures are going to take a dip as we go through the overnight hours. And your weekend forecast is looking dry but chilly. We'll go ahead and start you off with a live look here at your current temperatures. We're at 70 in Orlando, as well as New Smyrna Beach, 63 in Palm Coast, 61 in Ocala, and 66 out in Lakeland. Now, as we go through today, things will continue to warm just a little bit more, but the winds are definitely going to cause an issue, especially along our coastal communities. We're looking at those gusts up to 20, even 25 miles per hour, and that will be persistent as we go through the rest of today, lasting into tonight. So we could see minor beach erosion, and also there's a small craft advisory. So if you're thinking about doing any fishing or any boating, just make sure you're being careful out on the open waters. And the rip current risk for today is high, and then it'll be moderate as we go through the weekend. So your planning forecast looking pretty good. We'll see abundant sunshine as we go through today. No rain for today as well. Temperatures hitting 75 degrees in Orlando. And then tonight, we'll see our temperature slowly dip into the middle 60s by 8. And then we are heading towards the 40s during the overnight hours. Your highs here across Central Florida, 68 in Ocala, 69 in Palm Coast, Kissimmee, we're looking at 74, and Melbourne seeing a daytime high of 76. So here are your forecast lows. Normally, we're supposed to be in the lower 50s. We will all be below that. You could see out in Marion County, Ocala, seeing a low of 38, Gainesville 38, and then Orlando 46, 43 in Claremont, and 45 out in Titusville, Melbourne at 49. Keep in mind that it's still going to be breezy, so that's going to add in wind chill. Temperatures feeling much cooler than the actual air temperature. So if you are heading out dark and early tomorrow morning, like myself, just make sure you're bundling up. Clouds and rain forecast, not really reporting much. We'll continue to see clear skies as we go through the remainder of your Friday. And tomorrow will feature plenty of sunshine, but also featuring those chilly temperatures lasting through our Sunday. So I'll leave you here with your 7-day forecast. 75 today, looking at those 40s tonight. Also, tomorrow is the first day of winter. It is going to certainly feel like that with a high of 62. We're looking at another chilly start to our morning on Sunday, then a high of 69. And then after that, we are on a warming trend lasting through Christmas with temperatures in the 70s with a few isolated showers around. So I don't know about you, Thomas, if you prefer the chilly temperatures for Christmas or the milder temperatures, but I prefer the chilly because it kind of puts you in that holiday mood.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up in the Northeast, so like the cold during winter seems like less of a novel idea for me. But
There you
I
go.
yeah, certainly on a holiday, you want that little bit of chill. It's a good excuse to like get nice and cozy.
There you
Put on
go.
a sweater, drink some cocoa. It doesn't feel
Yeah.
the same in the 80s and 90s.
I mean, if you prefer drinking cocoa when it's 80 or 90 degree, do you? But
Of
I think
course.
it's a little bit too warm for that.
To each their own. I mean, I suppose if people didn't like it, they wouldn't live in Florida.
There you go.
Exactly. All right, Michelle, you have a great weekend, and thank you so much for your help today.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well. All right, now we are going to take a look at. So we've got a couple other big stories for us today. Of course, this holiday weekend is going to be the last big push for holiday shopping, and there are some pitfalls that you can fall into when spending that money this holiday season. Trying to pay off to delay some payments. You can get hit with some of those interest rates. Anchor Justin Wormuth will talk to us in a few minutes about that and how you can avoid those problems and protect yourself from falling victim to some high interest rates. But before we get to that, it was a big year for our theme parks. It's one of the number one industries here in Florida, and certainly one of the big reasons that people come from all across the country and all over the world to see us. But as big as this year was, next year might be even bigger. And to tell us more about that, we are joined by our theme park expert and digital producer, back from the high seas, Haley Coombs. How are you doing, Haley?
Doing well. I have to admit, I am still finding my sea legs a little bit. I didn't think I would need to, but
Mhm.
I underestimated the adjustment. I mean, maybe because I was working on the
Yeah.
Disney Treasure, which, by the way, I can't wait to say this. It's sending out tomorrow, so happy to have that happen. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
Absolutely. So, give us a little bit of a quick recap of this year. There were some big stories that came out of this year, and then we're going to look ahead to the crazy theme park year we're going to have next year.
When I was hearing you, introduce me like that and just
Mhm.
seeing about this past year, it was a lot of talk. And then, yes, 2025 is going to be a lot of walk, I should say.
Mhm.
So, but yeah, thinking back to what, obviously Epic Universe, that park, it had stages of announcements of every dedicated world inside of it. And it was just brilliant beyond for Universal in the way they were hyping this up for Central Florida and what's to come. So I have to tip my cap to them. Just thinking about what they did this past year, getting people excited for Epic Universe, what is going to be an absolute game changer coming
Mhm.
next year.
For sure, for sure. And so we're taking some look at that right now. Uh,
Hmm.
the first openings for that are just about a month away, and you're going to be getting a look at those, right?
Yes. So I was really excited to see this email in my inbox because Universal gave me the heads up that on January 21st, well, sorry, that's the opening of Stella Nova Resort,
Mm-hmm.
which is the first Epic Universe related opening. So, but I will be getting a preview in the days before. And yes, this is one of the two sister hotels. What we're looking at right now, of course, is the Kronos entrance of Epic Universe. But yes, the two sister hotels are opening early next year, and Stella Nova Resort, the first one, is going to open on January 21st. And to me, I looked at that, I'm like, wow, we are there. We are
Mm-hmm.
almost there. Our first Epic Universe related, you can even call it attraction, because this hotel, what they're one of two, how they're praising it, is going to be otherworldly and just majestic beyond belief. So
Absolutely. And that's going to be just such a huge boon to
mhm.
Central Florida and its economy and the number of tourists that we see here. If you think the traffic's bad, buy the theme parks now. Just you wait. So,
Yes.
in addition to of course, the first opening just being a month away, but the big opening, the grand opening for it, is even just a few months after that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, May, that you will blink and that will not happen long after.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, Stella Nova Resort January 21st, and then Terra Luna Resort, the other sister hotel, is opening in March. So they're kind of spreading out these big openings. So,
Mm-hmm.
and then we just saw footage of the Helios Grand Hotel that will open the same day, May 22nd, as Epic Universe. So
Wow.
yeah, they're really, again, the first half of 2025, we're just going to be one thing after another with all these park announcements or
Mm-hmm.
openings. So
For sure. And then, of course, not to be outdone, the House of Mouse, Disney is going to be making some big changes this year as well. Of course, one of those big changes is it's actually going to be saying goodbye to a beloved attraction, correct?
Yes, yes. So the first phase closure of Dinoland, which we knew it was happening, they made the big announcement, of course, in D23 that they're going to remove Dinoland and make it into the Pueblo Esperanza, the Central America theme. So,
Mm-hmm.
and we will have a dedicated attraction to Encanto and then also Dinosaur. While it will be open throughout 2025, a lot of people were kind of bummed to see if that was going to go. It's going to be open up until late 2026. So, but that will become a new Indiana Jones ride. So, but yeah, we just saw footage of Triceratops Spin. That is closing on January 13th. The last day to enjoy that is January 12th. So
Just about 3 weeks away then.
yeah, and so it's just, again, it's going to be the start of a big transformation over at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So it's going to be the first big overhaul like this since the park opening in 1998. So it's, when you really think about that, you're like, wow. I mean, we had the big addition of Avatar, but to have something like change like this.
Yeah, just like completely going extinct, as it were.
Yeah, lack of a better term. No, you're right.
Totally. And beyond that, I know that there's going to be some changes over at Hollywood Studios as well. We actually had you on the day it was announced as breaking news, but give us a little recap and when we can start expecting to see some of those changes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of mumblings were around, additions or changes happening at Disney's Hollywood Studios before D23, but then they pulled a rabbit out of their hat and said, oh my God, we're having Monsters Inc. Land coming here. And then, last month they announced that Rock and Roller Coaster featuring Aerosmith is officially going away and it will become a Muppets theme ride. So, which I have to say, I'm pretty excited about that thought. So I'm a Muppet mama. So
Yes, absolutely. No, I'm a big Muppet fan, at least bigger Muppet fan than I am an Aerosmith fan. But
it's seeing that the band is retired now. It's just, it's time, and if they're gonna hang their hat up, so yeah, it's time to shift over gears.
I'm guessing the kids are probably seeing the Muppets as being slightly more relevant than Aerosmith. No shade to Steven Tyler, but
I would have to agree with that. I would hope that, considering that just it's forever, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I also, if you Google some of those lyrics, they're not exactly the most family friendly in the world. So,
they're not. And then I thought of that too when I was on that ride, going from the studio setting into the alley and just hearing "Walk This Way." I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. If you're still a kid and you're watching this for whatever reason at 12:30 on a Friday, don't Google that, kids. All right, and just before I let you go, are there any other big things that you're watching out for, or announcements that you're expecting? I know you're kind of got your finger on the pulse, the scuttlebutt of the theme parks, as it were.
Yeah. So Disney just announced officially that they're having a big celebration of Disney on Broadway at their 2025 International Epcot Festival of the Arts Show, and that starts next month. So right after we get out of the holiday season mode, Epcot switches over to the next festival. So, but then other announcements, I'm just really looking forward to is, again, going back, I don't mean to go back to Epic Universe, but seeing just like first looks at attractions. I'm really excited to see first look at, more of this Isle of Berk, because they've had dedicated announcements to specific attractions in other lands, but I'm really looking forward to seeing more about This is Berk and just the fine detail of just this last few months of construction. So
yeah, they definitely have shown off a lot, but have made it clear that they're not giving everything away. Like even with they showed off those spectacular animatronics for like Dark Universe, but we know there's other ones that are going to be there, so we haven't even seen the full scope of even just that tiny taste of what's to come.
Yeah, no, I agree. Again, we're gonna blink and it's gonna be here before we know it. So
yeah. I know you'll be very busy in the coming months, so I hope you're able to enjoy some holiday time off and
I think
relax a little bit. Calm before the storm.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Haley Coombs, thank you so much for all your time today. I know we kind of talked about this a little bit last minute today, but you, being the consummate professional that you are, had all the information right off the top of your head and just Amazing. So I appreciate your time and your
Hey,
expertise.
you're welcome. Hey, as I always say, there's always something going on. So whenever, absolutely.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon, and have a great holiday.
Thank you.
All right. So we are going to take a quick break right now, and then when we come back, we are going to be talking with News 6 anchor Justin Wormuth. Again, watching out for some of those holiday shopping pitfalls, stuff to make sure that, just some advice to make sure that you are not paying more than what you bargained for come the new year. That'll be coming up in just about 2 minutes. Welcome back to Take 6. I'm streaming executive producer Thomas Mates, filling in for Julie Broughton. We were just taking a look at Daytona Beach. It looks gorgeous out there today, but it is going to get chilly this weekend. And as Michelle Morgan said at the start of the show, there is some high surf warning, so be careful if you're going to the beach. Maybe just watch yourself if you're planning on taking a step into the water. Anyways, we are going to be heading into one of the busy holiday shopping weekends coming up this weekend. It's your last chance to get those last minute gifts ahead of the holidays. And of course, a lot of us are going to be scrambling to make sure we've got the cash or the ability to buy those gifts, but that can come with some pitfalls if you're trying to take a bit of a shortcut here or there. To tell us a little bit more about that, we are joined now by News 6 anchor Justin Wormuth. Justin, how are you doing today?
I'm good, Thomas, but I am in that camp that you just talked about. I've done very little shopping this holiday season, and this weekend, unfortunately, I will be traversing through the crowds and trying to get those last minute Christmas gifts. I put it off this year, I think, a little too long. I don't know why, but nevertheless, when you go into these last minute deals and you're trying to find something, and sometimes it's enticing to maybe use that credit card if you can't afford it, or maybe you do the in-store financing. That's another big time option, and you're going to hear that when you go to one of those big box stores and they're going to say, hey, listen, you can save 15% if you sign up for a credit card. It's not all bad, but I did talk to an expert about what to watch out for if you're heading out this weekend.
Any financing deals very, very cautiously.
Chip Lupo, analyst with Wallet Hub, says the key is to read the fine print, especially when it comes to those deferred interest plans.
Retailers use them all the time. A lot of people get burned on them because they don't do their homework.
The deals can be enticing, 0% interest for 18 months. But Lupo warns not to be a day late or a dollar short.
So if you're financing $1,000 and you come up $1 short in the promotional period, close to 30% interest is going to apply to that $1,000 all for the entire 18 months.
Oh my goodness.
And then you're going to wind up being paying interest on the interest.
Wallet Hub has a naughty or nice list based on how transparent stores are with their deferred payments.
The ones you have to be careful for, Best Buy, those are notoriously bad. Lowe's and Amazon, all of those are going to try to push you into some kind of a deferred interest plan.
And what about shopping with credit cards? Lupo says there are a lot of hidden perks.
Yeah, read your benefits, because there's a lot of really good benefits with a lot of really good cards that consumers just simply aren't aware of.
For example, price protection. If the price of something you bought with your card drops, they'll refund you the difference. That way, you won't miss out on the better deal.
You do want to take advantage of benefits because they can wind up saving you a good deal of money over the long haul.
Justin Mormouth getting results. News 6.
And you also have these new, it's not really new, but it's still sort of new, talking about buy now, pay later options with Klarna, Affirm. That's more so when you're buying things online, and it's growing popularity. It's super popular among young people, also those with lower credit. But according to the data from the Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia, 31% of people use that buy now, pay later option, and there's a lot of satisfaction. About 70% of users find satisfaction. I know I've used it before, and it has come in handy. I think the key is when you do those buy now, pay later things is to make sure that you have the necessary funds in your account for those automatic withdrawals as it goes every single month. You want to have that money in there. I know there have been times where I don't have enough from the payment, and then I overdraft, and then the next thing you know, you're paying basically a fee on top of everything else. So, it's just good reminders here as we go into this busy holiday shopping weekend, and it's the hustle and bustle, the stress. You just want to buy those things and get it done. And sometimes it's you don't read the fine print. You're trying to get it done, go get them wrapped and things like that. Just things to be cautious of and to be aware of as you hit the stores this weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, with so many places have gone cashless, and I know I rarely carry cash anymore, but that makes it so much easier to not think of it as real money that you're messing with. But it's, it can get away from you quickly if you're not conscious of what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, I think we're all guilty of that as humans, is just saying like, I hate to use the phrase "charge it to the game," but sometimes you got to. You gotta make the purchase if you want to put it on a credit card. But it's just so many people still paying off last year's Christmas season. You know what I mean? Like the shopping season from last year. If you put it on your credit card, the stats are pretty jarring when you look at the people still paying that credit off a year later. And so, I know it's easier said than done, but the best advice from Wallet Hub is if you do have to put it on a credit card, just make sure that you can pay that off in a short amount of time so that interest doesn't catch up to you and you don't miss a payment, and then you're looking down the barrel of way more than you bought the actual item for.
Yeah, that was what stuck out to me with the when you're talking about the financing options that stores offer. Is like if you're $1 short, usually with interest it applies to the principal, but in those cases it applies to the initial payment, that whole $1,000, let's say, that you initially thought you were shelling out.
Yep, yeah, exactly, and that compounding interest is what's going to get you. That's where you feel like, and I hate to use the word credit, or the two words credit spiral, but I mean, that's what will get you. So don't be a day late or $1 short, or yes, you're taking it off that whatever payment was, $1,000, and that makes it even more of a problem and really something to be aware of. Reading the fine print, yes. I think we should do that with everything. We know it's hard to do that sometimes. But Wallet Hub has great information on their website. If you want to check that out, we linked that on this story on clickorlando.com, so you can sort of make sure, and maybe you do this now, you make the purchases now, and then go back and say, okay, what do I need to do to make sure that I'm not, paying way too much in down the line? How can I avoid all this interest? Because sometimes you buy a mattress or something, you don't have to make a payment for a couple months or something along those lines. Just make sure you have it all set up for when that payment needs to start so you can pay it off on time.
Yeah, absolutely. For things like this, I always think about something my dad used to tell me. He's a very frugal man, and he always said, if you have to ask how much, you probably can't afford it.
Boy, I could use that advice a lot. I know that's a great way to do it. Also, I mean, we talked about cash, but I mean, if you're going out, say you look at your bank account and you say, okay, how much do I want to spend today? You just go to the ATM, you pull out that cash. I'll tell you what, I know it's not surprising, but you're way more aware of what you're paying when you have to shell out, okay, 20, 40, oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Okay, way more than just scan, dink,
Yeah,
and
totally.
you're ready to go. So yeah, some great things like that. I know. I know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do this weekend, but but I'm going to try my best to avoid falling down a credit spiral.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I mean, I would be more worried about the crowds personally. I get a little claustrophobic in those situations.
Worried
but,
about that as well.
Yeah. A good stiff elbow, I think, goes a long way in those cases. Well, I wish you the best of luck in your shopping expedition this weekend.
Thank you.
And, I thank you so much for joining us, and have a happy holiday as well.
Same to you, buddy.
All right, thanks. All right, and that will do it for this final episode of 2024 of Take 6. We thank you so much for joining us all year long, and especially today. We will be back at 4 o'clock with all your news and weather and everything else you need to know heading into the weekend. Again, it's going to be chilly this weekend as a cold front comes through, so, make sure you're prepared for that and bundle up. And if you do head to the beach, watch out for those high surf advisories that are out there. Thank you again so much for joining us this year. Have a safe and happy holiday, and have a pleasant today.